Hey guys, we're doing a really special, unique presentation today. Today, as you guys know, we discuss different health topics. Today we're going to be dealing with hypnosis because we have a very well-known hypnotist, Mr. Eric Richmond, who has been giving us and will be giving us a huge insight as to what hypnosis means. Now, a lot of people, when they understand the mind, they really don't have a grasp of what the mind is. The mind is composed of a lot of different components: memory, creativity, will and desire, intuition. All these things are part of the mind, but it really is an enigma to a lot of people. Mr. Eric Richmond, who's here today, is going to be discussing with us a little bit about hypnosis, what it means, what it is, and what we have here in our town as an option. A lot of people don't know that we have these kind of individuals with these great skill sets and abilities. So today I'm going to present Mr. Eric Richmond and wonderful Connie, who's his right-hand individual. So they're going to be going and talking to us. So here we have Mr. Eric Richmond. So hello, guys. Mr. Richmond, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am so happy to have you here. It is one of those things where it gives me great joy to present this kind of information to the public. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what brought you into hypnosis. What is hypnosis, first of all?
Well, hypnosis, that's not an easy question to answer.
Yeah.
Okay. With hypnosis, let's talk about your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind controls everything that you see, feel, hear from time of birth to right now. So everything that you do right now has been learned in your subconscious mind. All right? Your subconscious mind is like a computer. When a computer is first made, it's blank. A computer can't do anything until it's programmed. Once a computer is programmed, it has to do what's programmed. Your subconscious mind is the same way. Once it's programmed, it has to do what's programmed. Okay? There's what's called a critical factor. And I look at the critical factor, I think about over in England, these guards over there that wear the red suits and have the big black hats and have the rifle, and they pace back and forth in front of the palace, guarding the palace. If somebody comes up to them, they stop, they aim the rifle, they say, "Halt, who goes there? Stop, who goes there?" So I look at the critical factor that guards the subconscious mind like this guard. When a suggestion comes to your subconscious mind, the critical factor says, "Stop, who goes there?" Now, if he really likes it and it sounds great, he'll let it through. If it's not so hot, it won't go through. If he doesn't like it, it won't go through. With hypnosis, we bypass the critical factor. We go in the back door and we reprogram the subconscious mind so that it can do what you want it to do. So, with hypnosis, now, let me give me an example. If you've ever driven down the highway and you've gone from point A to point B, you don't remember going in the middle, but you got to point B, okay, that's called highway hypnosis. If you ever daydream, you sit there and you look out the window, you daydream, and then you come back, that's a form of hypnosis. Okay, so basically with hypnosis, the individual gets really relaxed. They're contrary to what you see on TV, with hypnosis, you're 300 or 400% more alert than you are right now. You're not in a trance. Can't make you do anything you don't want to do. Can't make you bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken unless you just want to. Then I can make you do it. But you get so relaxed that you don't care what's happening around you. At any time during the hypnosis session, you can open your eyes and end it because you're in control. So it's just a relaxation technique, and that we send suggestions to the subconscious mind and help to do the things that we want to do.
Let me ask you, when we deal with individuals who want to learn about hypnosis, how would they go about searching for somebody that is well-versed in hypnosis? Because we're going to go deep into it. We're going to discuss the arenas in terms of what kind of issues would somebody seek out hypnosis for, and how could it affect them That makes sense.
There's a lot of things that you can do with hypnosis. For instance, stop smoking. I have a lot of clients that come for stop smoking. Do one session, and the majority of them will stop smoking. There's weight loss. Now, of course, weight loss isn't as fast as smoking. It takes several sessions. A lot of people come for weight loss. Sports improvement. I get a lot of athletes that want to do better in sports because, sports is mental. You have to have you have to be mentally in the game to do well in all the sports. So I do a lot of excuse me, a lot of sports. I've had athletes that have come for sports improvement and ended up getting scholarships to college.
We were privy to see some real interesting things here recently in the Olympics, and we saw some individuals go through some real tough times in the Olympics as a result of mind or emotional or mental health issues. When we're actually right now in the Push Fitness Center, and we have a lot of athletes, as you indicated, that want to become better. The deep mind is a place where the body goes through it and actually alleviates a lot of the issues that limit us. Now, I was wanting to know, in terms of your experience, how do you get an athlete to perform at its optimal best?
Well, we would start with the hypnosis session, and I would talk to the athlete and see what they want to accomplish, what they want to do, and then under hypnosis we have them visualize doing what they want to do, and that's very powerful. Have them visualizing doing it, and like practice, we have them set a practice regimen, and then I'll have them, for instance, baseball. Okay, at some time, a person has made a spectacular catch, a catch that they didn't think they could possibly make, but they made it. Okay, so I have them go back and relive that catching that ball, and then tell them, "Hey, you can do this again because you've done it. It's your mind. You know you can do it. Now just go do it."
Wow, how many? What kind of environment would they have to go to begin the process of hypnosis? Is this something that can be done in person, online? How do you approach it?
I can do it. Well, with COVID, my policy now is if they've had their vaccinations, I do them in person.
Okay.
If not, I use Zoom, and Zoom works very well.
It does.
Yes.
Any limitations with Zoom and its processes in terms of the sound, in terms of the presence?
No, it's Zoom seems to be do very well, but they need to have a computer.
A computer. Okay.
The telephone, for them to hold the telephone and be on Zoom, and then when they get relaxed, their arm falls down, then I can't see them anymore. I like to be able to see them.
Makes sense.
And also with sports, I can do groups.
You can do groups?
Yes.
That's interesting because Zoom does offer the ability to have multiple people in a group. What is a good sized group that we could do it in? Because I see there's a lot of people online right now that are watching actually, and some of them might be a coach, and whether the sport is volleyball, for example. Volleyball is a very intricate sport that it gets highly intense, and the moments of activity can be really, really hot and heavy. And someone could be winning. Some of these teams I've seen winning from almost 16 or 17 points ahead, and the top point is 24, 25 points, and somehow they end up losing when they were 15 points ahead because of a mental breakdown. And that process, when it occurs, needs to be rehashed over and over again. And a coach sometimes has to work with the mind. For those coaches that have multiple individuals, how would you approach a group session or a team session?
Well, the largest group I've done has been 70-some people.
70?
Yeah.
Oh, is this in person or online?
This was in person.
Okay, great.
But they would just have to contact me, and we could set it up. Each person would have to have their own individual computer and do it that way.
And we could do it. Excellent.
And you were talking about the coaches and things.
Yes.
If you saw on the swimming, and I forget which swimmer it was one of our swimmers that was favored for gold. She stares she stares at her opponents before she starts. She stands there and she slaps her leg, slaps her leg, slaps her leg. She's psyching out her opponents before they start. She's always done this.
Is that wild? Yeah. That is wild.
Yeah. And they did a little story about it. They showed her when she was standing in the waiting room before she went out there. She was standing there slapping her leg, slapping her leg, slapping her leg. And then when she gets out there, before she stands up on the platform, she would stare off towards the competitors. She's not staring at the competitors, but they don't know that. They just see her staring, and then she starts slapping her leg. And then she gets up there, and then she swims, and she wins.
Talk to me. What is going on in that moment? I really am interested. Like, what's going on in her approach and the individual who's kind of psyching out the opponent.
Well, the individual doesn't know what she's doing. She can't figure it out. She doesn't know why she's doing it. She thinks, well, wow, she's staring at me. What's the matter with me? Is there something wrong with me? So it's kind of putting an element of doubt there. It's like the gunfighters that stare at each other before they draw.
And that makes that catches them, and it creates enough, I guess, variability in the brain function.
Right.
That allows the almost like a deviation of thought and performance.
Right. There are professional athletes who carry hypnotists with them on their tour.
No way. Tell me about this. I want to know about this.
I have a friend in Florida, and he specializes in golf hypnosis. And he travels with the professionals, and he has several of the professionals he does hypnosis with before each tournament.
And how does he do it, like during the day, in the morning, in the evening? When would you do it? When would you do the hypnosis? Would you do it early in that morning before the event, or?
You can do it. You can do it before the event, or you can do it that night after the event. But you can do it before, sure.
Before the event, before the night before, or even the morning of the event.
Either or both.
Wow. Okay. And what's our goal with that? What is our goal with the obviously to perform better? But what is your approach in working with athletes particularly?
My goal is to help them to become better.
Gotcha. And to improve in function or in dynamics or open up a deeper chasm of thinking.
Just improve overall everything.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned a little bit about the health components and health like weight loss and also those components. How is that different, and how is the approach different in those?
Well, like, for instance, with weight loss, we reprogram and try to teach them not to eat so much each time, eat smaller meals. Tell them to, instead of eating their meal with a big plate, get a small plate. Put their food on the small plate, and the subconscious mind thinks they're eating a big plate of food. Okay? So then you eat until you no longer feel hungry, until the hunger pain goes away. If you eat until you feel full, you've eaten too much. We program this in the subconscious mind. Now, if you've ever sat down to a plate of food and you started eating, and oh, wow, it was so good.
Nice.
Then after 2 or 3 bites, the taste changed.
Okay.
That is your body telling you that you don't need that food anymore, that particular food. So you go from that and eat something else on your plate.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. You have to listen to your body. And under hypnosis, we teach them to listen to their body.
Wow. So usually, and what are the cues that someone can, and that's because that's very fascinating. I'm a big believer of the micronutrients in the body. Just gives you the desire to want certain foods, for example, and certain needs and certain proteins and certain fats, and it'll make you go to the store and buy the stuff. So you need those supplements, whether it's peanut butter or chocolate. What are the cues in terms of when someone feels that change in their taste? What kind of things should they be looking out for? Says, that's enough, and move on to the next.
We want to take the next bite. Not long ago, I love fried rice.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down.
Yeah, I love fried rice too, man.
And I sat down and had a big old plate of fried rice. And after 2 or 3 bites, it just didn't taste the same. and I wanted to eat it, but I couldn't because I knew. So I went on to something else on my plate and ate that.
Well, I tell you, that is very exciting because I've seen myself eating fried rice and the truth be said, when I can't stop. I can't stop. I mean, it just, I mean, I don't know about a lot of people, but I love fried rice, and I must need it in some capacity because it just, by the time I can't breathe. And the stuff swells in my stomach. So those are great concepts, and I love the approach on that. Now let me ask you some things in terms of the questions that I want to ask you, because I have a lot of questions here. You mentioned stuff about past life regressions. That sounds fascinating. Talk to me about that subject if you can touch on it, because we're going to have many more podcasts, and we're going to go deep into the subject. So tell us a little bit about what that means and what kind of concepts that's about.
Now, not everybody believes in past lives, but now, whether you believe in past life or not, I've done hypnosis sessions where I wasn't intending to go into a past life, but the person ended up in a past life, because under hypnosis, sometimes you go back, like to childhood, and you uncover things that are causing things to happen, in right now. And so we went back to uncover what was causing this person's problem. And it was in another life. So everybody has lived lives in the past, multiple lives. And you could have been a male, you could have been a female. Everybody's been both. So there are some people, and I have a friend in California who's also a hypnosis instructor, but they did a past life regression on him. He went back to a past life where he was a concert pianist. He brought that ability back up to this day and time. He's never had a piano lesson. He cannot read music, but he can sit down to a piano and play beautifully.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is. There are things that you do in this lifetime that may be seated in something that happened to you in a past life. So we can go back into the past life where this occurred and find out, neutralize it, and then you get better in this lifetime.
Wow. Let me ask you something. In terms of the hypnosis and in terms of the design, what we're looking at is this, when you say past life regressions, okay, because that's I want to analyze that and see where this is coming from. Is this knowledge or this energy or this space of thought process, is it maintained in something that is of a let's say a genetic component, or is it something that is being pulled in terms of, is it pulled through the genes, or is it how is it getting through to us in this present state, and how does it come through?
It's coming through your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind has everything stored there. All your past lives, everything is stored in your subconscious mind.
Talk to me. Open this up. Teach me a little bit about that, because I know that for the scientist that's out there, they want to learn more about the subconscious as to how it contains the portal of data that can be brought forward.
Well, there's this could be some heavy stuff.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. You know what? I got to tell you, I know we all want to know. Okay, I know I do want to know, and there are so many things. If there's one thing that I believe in, is that we know very little in this present state, and to open those portals or those thought processes or those understandings of that information, I guess, bolus that exists in our existence is fascinating to me and a lot of people. So I definitely want you to, kind of, as best you can, talk to me about it, because there are a lot of people out there, specifically in El Paso, that don't really, because they don't know, they may fear it, but we want to talk about it and we want to understand it.
Well, if we do a past life regression, you're totally safe, and you go back and you look at it, like you're looking at a TV screen or a movie or something, but you're totally safe. Nothing's going to happen to you. And a lot of times, what I'll do is we'll talk with the client, and if there's a specific problem they're having now, they ask to go back to a past life that might be having to deal with this problem. Many times, people will say, "We'll let the subconscious mind choose which past life they go to." They'll say, "Choose to go to a past life that I most need to see right now," and then go back and to that past life. And then I take them on a journey to the moon. And then from the moon, we follow this tractor beam of light and go back to the past life. It's kind of neat.
Well, I'm really excited to do this. As an individual, I want to improve myself. If there's any place where I can, make me a better me, a version of me, I guess, and to bring out the better me in a very safe environment and very comfortable dynamics, I want to bring it out. For those that this may be new to, how do we make them comfortable in understanding the experience of being safe in it? Because a lot of people don't want. I mean, I deal with a lot of people. For example, I'll give you an example where it's a delicate issue. I do a lot of body composition, weight loss assessments, and believe it or not, when I ask someone, I'm going to know a little bit about their muscle density, and I'm going to know how much muscle and body fat that they may have, they put it up. Some people don't like that. When it comes to the mind, that's even more guarded for a lot of people. How do you go about making them feel very comfortable in the whole hypnosis presentation, assessment, and the protocols that you follow?
Well, we sit down, we have a talk, we have a visit before, and then I do a little test to let them kind of experience it. It's called a lemon test.
Okay. What is a lemon test, by the way?
We can do the lemon test if you like.
I would love to do a lemon test. For those, we may not want to do this while we're driving, but it's pretty interesting. But go ahead. I wanted to at least give a person understanding of what it is and the journey like, so to speak. Is it going to make me?
We'll just sit back and just listen.
All right. I'm going to sit back and listen. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, if you're driving, don't do this. If you're operating heavy equipment, don't do this.
Okay. All right.
All right. So get in a comfortable position, sit back, close your eyes, and take some nice, slow, deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just let your body relax. I want you to picture, imagine, think, or just know that you're in the most favorite kitchen of your whole life. It could be the kitchen you have now. It could be mama's kitchen, grandma's kitchen, a friend's kitchen, or you can make one up. Doesn't matter. Be in that kitchen. Notice any familiar sounds, familiar smells. Notice the ambiance. Look at the floor. Is it carpet? Is it tile? Is it linoleum? Now walk across the kitchen floor and stand in front of the refrigerator. Reach up, open the refrigerator door, and feel the cold air rush against your face. Now look on the shelves of the refrigerator. On one of the shelves is the most beautiful lemon that you've ever seen. Reach in, take the lemon, close the refrigerator door. Hold the lemon in your hand. Look at the texture. It's perfectly ripe. Now, someplace in that kitchen is where they do the cutting. It could be the stove, the countertop, table, cutting board, sink, wherever. Take the lemon over to where they do the cutting in that kitchen. Give yourself permission to safely use a sharp knife. Take the sharp knife, cut the lemon in two. As you cut the lemon in two, the cold juice just squirts all over your hands. Now you have two halves. Take one of those halves, cut it in two. Now you have 2/4. So pick up one of those small pieces and smell the lemony aroma. It's just perfect lemon aroma. And now take a bite of it. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay, so the first question is, whose kitchen were you in?
Wow. I was a kid.
Okay. Did your mouth water?
Yes.
Did you taste the lemon?
Yes.
Did you feel the cold air?
Yes.
Did you see the lemon?
Yes.
Okay. you're not in that kitchen now. You don't have the lemon. You didn't taste it, but yet your mouth watered. You tasted it. You saw it. You felt it.
Mm-hmm.
That's hypnosis.
Amazing.
That is a light state of hypnosis, but that's exactly what it feels like to be hypnotized.
It's a very insightful, and I felt very, very safe with that, by the way. Go ahead.
Now, if you didn't feel all the senses, it doesn't matter. As long as you felt one or two of them, that's great.
It's amazing. I have here Connie, who's going to give us an insight, and Connie brings us an insight, and I would like to learn about what you have to say, Connie. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that at the same time that you were in your kitchen and experiencing the lemon and all, you weren't unaware of where you really were. You weren't under any kind of spell or anything like that. And I think that's something that people need to understand, that you still have control of all your faculties, and you're not going to be told to do something or feel a way that you are uncomfortable with, because your own mind will fight that.
You know, I want to say thank you, because I always wondered what I felt like that. I've seen it before in comedies, shows, because sometimes they have like the hypnotist come in a comedy environment, but it turns pretty interesting very quickly for a lot of people. I've seen it done to others, but I really didn't allow myself to sit down like I just did, just to do a basic, because you just worry about someone having control. That was very safe, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that, and a little bit about your credentials, because it's important for people to know who you are, and tell us a little bit about like how you got into hypnosis, because we obviously know that you know it, but I want to know a little bit about the path of learning processes that you've taken for the hypnotist or the hypnosis science.
Okay. First of all, I am a certified registered nurse anesthetist. I put people to sleep for surgery. I do epidurals on women having babies. I'm in my 44th year of doing anesthesia.
Amazing.
Okay. So years ago, there was a hypnosis ad in our journal every month. The Greater New England Academy of Hypnosis every month had an ad in there, learn hypnosis. For years, I kept looking, saying, I want to do it. Finally, in 2003, I did it. It wasn't Greater New England, it was another individual, but I took the course and I became certified. So I was a certified hypnotist. And it was I couldn't get enough. So I studied and I got more and more. I became board certified. Okay, then I became a hypnosis instructor. And at the time I was working in Honolulu. I flew from Honolulu to London to take the hypnosis instructor's course, because the instructor there was so well known that I wanted to have him be my instructor. So then I went over there, and now I'm an instructor. So I can teach hypnosis.
Have you? And that's amazing. When you say board certified, what does that entail? What did you do to get board certified?
Well, I'm a member of the National Guild of Hypnotists, which is the oldest hypnosis organization of its kind.
Oh wow!
And you have to be in so many years. You have to have so many clients. You have to write a paper. The paper has to be published. Then you have to go for oral boards where they sit down and ask you, oral questions, and then a written test. Interesting. Now, your education in terms of teaching, where did you teach at? I've taught just individuals or all over? In classes and all over.
Now, you got an award recently, and I noticed that you were wearing a very special. Well, you can probably hold that up on the camera a little bit right there. We'll zoom in on it. And what does that mean? What is that? What is that?
It's called the Order of the Braid, and it's with the National Guild of Hypnotists. It's one of their highest honors.
When did you get that?
Just a couple of months ago.
Awesome! Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And what would someone have to do to get that level of accolade?
Well, I have been several years a speaker at their annual convention, see clients, do seminars, and just work for the guild. Doing things for the guild, helping them out.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give a little pan out here because I know we're going to be talking about it. He's located at 9611 Acer Avenue, Building B, Suite 109, El Paso 79925. The phone number we have here, and we're going to be putting this on the front, just verbalize it so it stays in the written component, in the written script, is 915-490-9543. The website is Hypnotique, hypno-tique.com, and we'll put that stuff up there for you. The more and more I talk to you, the more I'm wanting to understand what other things we can work with and that you do. We talked about sports, we talked about weight loss, we talked about smoking. What other things do you enjoy working with and become part of your passion for certain individuals?
I do a lot of working with students for study habits, test taking.
Oh wow,
that kind of thing. I've helped a couple of doctors pass their certification boards.
No way.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, they had not passed them in the past. They came to me and I helped them study and develop a way of recalling their information. And next time they took it, they passed.
That's incredible. You know what? That's a source of in nursing. There's big things like the NCLEX, which is a huge dynamic, fearful factor for a lot of nurses in today's world, and it's probably limited. I'd say 50% of nurses from becoming nurses, and it's because of the anxiety to these test boards. So the approaches that you would take for, let's say, a professional to help them with learning. Tell us a little bit about that in terms of without too much, but at least how would someone go about prepping and where should they put this science in their learning design?
Well, basically what you program is that when they take the test, that they're going to be relaxed, they enjoy test taking, and when they read the question, that the answer comes to them. It's not something you don't have to sit down and just cram and think. It's when you read it comes. And then take the first thing that comes. The first thing that pops your head, take it. But it helps them to recall what they studied when they need to.
Wow, that's life-changing.
Yeah, it is.
It's life-changing. Once you pass the state boards or whatever that is required, that opens up a whole new life for you. And these fears limit us.
Sure.
Wow.
Then and like with younger students, and even some of the older students, I help them develop study habits. Pick a particular time during the day, no telephones, no TV, nothing. You sit down and you study, and it helps them to study a better quality of studying.
Okay. In terms of the ideas, and we're wanting to, at least I want to understand a little bit about the sessions and how long would it take and how many sessions do you recommend in terms of, let's say, the concepts of, let's say, weight loss versus taking a test versus a sport thing. How do you determine the amount of course settings?
Basically, the individual would determine. Smoking, like we talked about, is one session. Okay, then I give them a guarantee. If they pick up a cigarette in the next 30 days, I'll repeat the session free. Nice.
That's really good.
And I don't do very many free.
That is amazing. And I can see a lot of people asking some questions here. One of the questions is how often should the sessions be done? And also, is there a cost that they want to know? And I know there's probably a variable in costs, I'm sure. But in terms of, do they have cost or payment arrangements that you can do with them?
Well, for stop smoking, $150 for one session. Like I said, if you pick up a cigarette next 30 days, I repeat the session.
No way. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, this seems like a no-brainer because smoking is such a cause of so many diseases and so many disorders. Many of the cancers that we have today are just related somehow indirectly or directly to smoking. How about the weight loss design in terms of when you do that? What's the approach you take there with people?
Well, weight loss is a minimum of 4 sessions, and then you just have to look at the individual, see how they're doing. And I like to do them a couple weeks apart.
And what do you look for in terms of to show progression? Obviously, weight the number, but what is it? Are you looking for something in terms of their mind as it progresses through acceptance of a new order for them?
Well, I tell them don't weigh yourself every day. Don't even weigh yourself. Now, what I do is on the first session, I have a list, and we take a tape measure, and you measure the forehead, measure the neck, upper arm, the wrist, chest, the hips, the waist, upper thigh, the ankle, a bunch of different measurements, and you add up the inches. Okay, then in a month, you do the same measurements. You have to make sure you do it in the same place. Many times people will lose inches and not really be losing pounds. So they get on a plateau or something, and even though they're doing well on their program, they feel like, oh, I'm not losing any weight. But then they do the inches, and they find, oh, gee, I've lost 6 inches. That makes a difference. I tell them to look at their clothes. Notice their clothes are feeling looser.
Okay.
But don't weigh every day because your weight can fluctuate daily. Just with water.
When we're dealing with moms, okay, I work with like athletes and parents get involved. What's the earliest stage that hypnosis is appropriate? Or have you worked with? At what age would you say it's comfortable for parents or is there a limit or is there not?
Well, if I'm doing a child or a kid, a youngster, I let the parents stay in the room with me.
Gotcha.
And that that helps them to be at ease. And actually, the younger they are, the easier they are to hypnotize.
Wow.
Because kids get in a fantasy world anyway.
Wow. So when you say the younger they are, where do you think that a mom who has a child, let's say eating disorder, do you work with eating disorders like bulimia or anorexia or things that kind of can be detrimental for them in their terms of habits?
Well, we can certainly work with the habits and help them. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose or anything like that, but I can help them overcome what they're doing.
Now, you mentioned something that was very interesting to me because my mom recently had her knee replaced, and the orthopedic surgeon sent her over to an acupuncturist in order to do a protocol prior to the surgical procedures. Do you find that in your world of anesthesia and the doctors that you work with, do they use the addition of the science in terms of helping them through some sort of recovery?
A lot of doctors that I work with use nerve blocks when they do the surgery. I myself have had surgery, and I've had hypnosis before the surgery, and afterwards I didn't take hardly any pain medicine at all.
Excellent.
Just like Tylenol or naproxen or something.
So is that something that is used in general, or is that something that or not commonly used with a surgical intervention?
In El Paso, probably not.
Probably not. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I am learning so much in terms of this process. How would someone go about it? I know I give them the information to get a hold of you, but how would you like them to get a hold of you?
If they call me during the day on that number and I don't answer, it generally means I'm either with a client or I'm doing anesthesia. Okay, so what you would do is leave me a message. Okay, you can also go to my website and leave me a message on my website, or you can send me an email.
And your website, we mentioned it. It was called, let me go over that again and see if I can bring it up for people over the next few minutes because it's important to be able to, and for some reason my internet seems to be having a little happy time today. And it's called Hypno, hypno-tique.com. And let me see if I can actually present it to you so you can actually see it right there. There it goes. What is hypnosis? And as we kind of go through it, it goes over different components of it. What is past life progression? Can you stop smoking? Can you do weight loss? study help exams, sports improvements, and stress relief. Now, I know we haven't talked about stress relief, but let's talk about it. And in terms of the approaches that you have in terms of with stress relief, how do you approach those?
Okay. I want to say one thing before we get to stress relief.
Please, yes.
Like with the weight loss or stop smoking, if someone says, here, go see him and stop smoking, that won't work. The individual has to want to quit smoking. You can't force it on somebody else. Okay, they have to want to be hypnotized to quit smoking. They have to want to be hypnotized to lose weight.
Excellent point. Because I'll tell you what, I live by an adage that advice not wanted is ill received. So it's got to come from them when they want it, and
Right.
and their body's got to be ready for that particular insight of knowledge. Tell me a little bit about that stress
All right.
information.
Now, with stress is really a big factor in everybody's life. Stress causes many diseases. You know, it can kill you. So with hypnosis, I take them into a deep state of relaxation and just get all the stress out of the body. And then I create, under hypnosis, I create a safe and secret place. This is a place where they can go to anytime they want to get rid of any problems, to get rid of any stress, to work out problems. To get to that safe and secret place, all they have to do is close their eyes, take a deep breath, count 3, 2, 1, and enter the safe and secret place. And this is all made possible because of plant the suggestion in the subconscious mind. You don't do it while you're driving, but you can
Absolutely.
go. You can stay in the safe and secret place a minute, or you can stay in it an hour, whatever you want to. And when you're ready to get out of your safe and secret place, you just open your eyes and leave. I can also sometimes depends on what the situation is. I'll have the people rub their thumb and first finger together to relieve any stress. So maybe they're at work or something, and they're stressed out. Somebody's hollering at them. They put their hand under the desk, rub their thumb and first finger together, and get rid of the stress.
You know, we deal with a lot of stress related sequelas in my practice. You're so right that it does kill you. It does kill you, and it causes so many issues. Stressful moments impact your entire life. Moments and events, if not dealt with properly, they rattle your entire life, and they have to be dealt with somehow, some way. This has been very insightful. I want to show you guys the website again. As you can see here, we can actually see the website. You can actually Hypnotique. When you go to the site, it'll be what is hypnosis. We have our good specialist here, right here, and it's Mr. Eric Richmond, CRNA. That's a nurse anesthetist. What is BCH and CIRM? What are those good little letters for?
Board certified hypnotist,
Oh, wow.
hypnosis instructor or certified instructor,
Mm-hmm.
and RM is a Reiki master. I'm a Reiki master.
Reiki master. Wow, that sounds like another podcast. I want to bring in Connie here. So dig in, Connie. Tell me a little bit about how your relationship with hypnosis has developed over the years. What have you done that could give insights to the individual out there that it could benefit them understanding the experience?
I think the biggest thing is realizing that you're safe, that you can't be made to do anything you don't want, and that also you have to really want to change whatever the habit is. You want to get over your anxieties. Some people don't. Some people hang on to them like a cloak. You have to want to quit smoking, or using smokeless tobacco, the snuff and chewing tobacco and all. I know that's real popular back east, and Eric actually hypnotized my ex-husband. One session, he had been addicted to smokeless tobacco for decades, and he had one session, and he's never picked up since. So,
Amazing.
yeah, it can be very effective. but you have to want to, because I was with him when he was going through the quitting process, and he never picked up again. But there were times he wanted to, but he wanted more to quit. I had seen him try to quit before and been unsuccessful. He'd quit for a week or two, and something would come up, and there it would be again. But this time, he wanted it, and with the help of the hypnosis, he was able to succeed that time. Because from what I understand, the smokeless tobacco is so much more addictive than cigarettes. It's a lot higher content of nicotine. But I've also seen where Eric will get a call from somebody's mom, and they want to help their son or their daughter with various problems, and can you help them? And it's like, no, the person needs to want it, the individual. If they're just calling because the daughter is shy, just to break the ice, then that's one thing. But because mom wants them to do it.
Let's talk about that. Because I think that's a shoehorn thing where when, for example, you have an individual, and children are very wise, and many times they're wiser than we give them credit for, and they want to change, but mom knows. So how do you present it to, let's say, an individual and say, hey, you know what? This is out there. Do you want this? And what's where do we get the green light? Says this child, this individual, they're totally open, because they may not know about hypnosis, and we got to be able to present it to them and say, is this something that is that we can help you with this, son, daughter, husband? Would you look into it? Would you be open to that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do free consultations. They can come to me, talk to me, see what they think, and we can explain it and talk about it. If they're comfortable, we proceed. If they're not comfortable, that's okay.
Excellent. That seems like a very good, sure way of kind of knowing, and that makes it makes it understandable for the individual. Well, I got to tell you, I know that I can see a whole lot of people online, and go ahead. And I know you want to mention something. Go ahead.
Okay. So Connie mentioned about her ex-husband and the smokeless tobacco. I used smokeless tobacco for over 20 years. I quit after one hypnosis session. When I first started into hypnosis, I one session and I quit, and I was so bad. I would take those little Skull Bandits. I would put them in my mouth, and I'd go to the hospital and do anesthesia, and I'd swallow all day long.
Oh gosh!
I was addicted to it. One session, and I haven't picked it up since, and that was since 2003.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. You are not only qualified to teach, but you're qualified to be a part of it because you yourself have gone through it.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing. That's a huge thing. I got to tell you, I could break this thing open and we could talk about for about a good 2 days, I think. But I think that Facebook gives me a limit of about 45 minutes, and I think we've crossed it. So what I want to do now is I want to at least take the opportunity to thank you both for coming out here. Connie, thank you so much. I want to let you know that we're going to be having probably a little bit more conversations with you. And Mr. Richmond, I got to tell you, it's been nothing but a pleasure to learn. You took me back to a childhood. You know what? Not only did I smell lemons, but I smelled my favorite bread. And I was there, and I felt safe. And it was in my mom's neighbor's house. And for my whole life, I think my limbic system has burned into those thoughts, and I didn't have those experiences till just now. That was amazing. And I want to thank you, and I felt very safe. And I want to let you know that we need to be discussing a little bit more. We'll break apart the subject matters, and we'll go into the stress direction that as you wish. And you guys are all welcome on, and we're going to be talking about this. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people over the next couple of months seeing this particular presentation and want to know more. We're going to leave all those numbers and that information and your links to the bottom of the page so they can connect with you directly. it's a blessing to have this kind of knowledge and this kind of awareness in our town. Not a lot of people know we have this, and maybe never really saw a true individual who has the level of education behind it like you do. So any final thoughts that you want to leave the people with? Go ahead, Connie.
Yes. He has done classes for a friend who is Hispanic, and so for individuals who Spanish is their primary language and they're more comfortable with it, he can refer to other hypnotists that can help them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who I trained.
Excellent. On that note, I will say this. I used to think that that would be a barrier to a lot of people, and it may be to some, but it's a lot smaller of a barrier than I thought in El Paso. A lot of people do know both those languages. So, Mr. Richmond, any final thoughts on what we can leave the people with so that they can kind of understand what you do a little bit more, and any other tools that you want to leave them with so they can find you?
Well, feel free to contact me. And if it's during the day and I'm doing surgery, I can't answer the phone, but I will get back to you. Also, something that I do is I give people affirmations, homework. So after the sessions, I'll give them affirmations to repeat every day to make the session stronger. With smoking and with weight loss, also like smoking, I give them a little cue card that says, "I am now a non-smoker forever and ever." And then if they ever get a desire to pick up a cigarette, to say "rainbow, rainbow, rainbow," and the desire goes away.
Wow.
And that's also on my website. It's under, you can find those cards.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw the areas of the sessions, the books now, the galleries, and the testimonies, along with some other useful components in the website. Here's the website again, and you can actually look at it. It's again hypno-tique.com. I love the name. I got to tell you, as a final note, I'm very impressed with you as an individual. You have not only brought this subject matter to my awareness at a different level and a deeper insight placing in my mind. I'm excited that the population of El Paso is exposed to this too, and probably from a farther side, because this site, people will be able to see it from distance and find you from remote. And since now, with the advent of Zoom, there's no limit to the barriers. It's not just El Paso. They can find you elsewhere. Go ahead.
Well, actually, with Zoom, the National Guild of Hypnotists has an annual meeting every year in Marlborough, Massachusetts. It's in August. And like I said, I've been a speaker several years at the convention. So this year they've gone virtual. So I had to record my session on Zoom and Dropbox it to them. I'm learning all this stuff.
You know what? I got to tell you, I've learned a lot about Dropbox, and I love about 5.9 and Zoom, and it's a change. But here's the constant: the mind changes, and the changes that people want in their mind can be facilitated by this science and this art. I want to thank you for coming on. Go ahead.
So I was going to tell you, my topic for this year's convention is spirit guide healing.
Spirit guide healing.
Yes.
Oh, before I go, you got to now. If you say that, you got to tell me what that's about. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So everyone has a spirit guide. They're with you all the time. They help to guide you throughout life. So with spirit guide healing is I introduce them to their main spirit guide, and then let the spirit guide take them within themselves to their deep subconscious mind, their inner mind, the higher self, whatever we're going to call it, and let the deep inner mind tell you what's wrong with you and how to fix it. Now, it could be just merely diet. You eat a particular food to fix what this is. But you go within yourself and let yourself tell you what's wrong or what you need to do. It's pretty powerful.
It sounds very powerful. And I just almost walked off without even talking about the spirit guide. I got to tell you, there's more to talk about. And guys, don't worry. We're going to be figuring out which kind of topic, and we'll isolate the issue, isolate the topic. And he will run with it. And this forum is only one, Facebook and YouTube and some sort of video presentation. We'll be presenting other ways. And thank you. Thank you both. And thank you for spending this time, maybe on the Friday, but we'll be talking more about those issues. Connie, thank you so much. And you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. And we'll chit-chat with you guys. And my peoples, we'll see you back at the next one.
Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome, brother.